Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. I'm Centra, the coffee-dependent video game nerd, and today I'm going to lay the groundwork for how I analyze character gameplay design. Ever since I was in middle school, I've been fascinated with gameplay design, specifically when it came to designing character ability kits. There are a lot of factors that go into making a good kit, from matching the abilities to fit the theme, to matching player expectations of the character, making the kit fun to use, and so on. However, going online to almost any platform, there aren't many places to discuss these things. Most people on online forums just rant about how X character is horribly designed because they're anti-fun or have no counterplay. I want to create a platform where people can actually talk about character gameplay design, where playing against the character is merely one of a multitude of factors to consider. Alright, good introduction? Great! Then let's get into the criteria that I will be using. I'm basing my criteria loosely off an old design talk from Riot Ghostcrawler. He's worked with Riot Games since 2013, starting as League of Legends' lead designer. He then got promoted to design director, and after that, vice president of IP and entertainment at Riot. He's worked on not only League of Legends, but basically everything Runeterra related. Riot Forge projects, KDA, Arcane, Tales of Runeterra, and even the Marvel Comics collaborations. Now, in 2020, he's been set as the lead designer for Riot's Runeterra MMO. Suffice it to say, this guy has a ton of experience in this field, and he's personally laid the groundwork on how Riot designs their champions to this day. I'll leave a link to the original video in the description, but in the video he describes what he calls Riot's 5 main pillars of champion design. These 5 pillars form the skeleton of my rubric, but with my own interpretations on how those pillars manifest in the best designs. The first pillar is gameplay satisfaction, and this already gets complicated because it's not merely gameplay functionality that we're looking at here. Visual and sound design can transform how abilities feel. Using those abilities together in a gameplay loop can make or break a character for most people. Champion strength varies at different points in the game, or under different conditions, but players want their champion to be fun all the time. How do you design around that? This is one of those pillars where a champion's old age can massively hinder them, as the most ancient champions have crusty visual and sound design that can feel bad to play, but there are modern champions who are also sore here too. The second pillar is Thematic Resonance. Players have certain expectations about what different characters do based on their looks, their personality, and dialogue, or more deeply, their lore. Good design isn't just making a functional kit in a vacuum, it's making that kit make sense in the context of the written, animated character using it. You wouldn't expect a big, strong guy with a massive sword and hulking armor, like Garen, to have a kit like his magical sister Lux, would you? Casting spells from far away and immediately popping when an assassin closes the gap on them, it just doesn't make sense for him. Their kits work in the context of themselves best. The third pillar is skill expression, and I want to elaborate the most on this one because I look at 3 factors for skill expression. 1. The player gets more effective at the character by playing them more and more, and learning more about their skills. It seems very obvious, and it is. Usually, when people analyze skill expression, they look at this factor and only this: micro skills. Does the character take time to truly master them? Is there a significant difference between someone who has played the champion once versus 10 times? What about 10 versus 100? The second factor that I look to is general League of Legends skill, macro skills. This is good positioning, good resource management, and so on. This also depends a lot on the context of the character's role in class because different classes require different skill sets. Wave management is not important for a jungler to know, and it's only a little more important on a mage mid lane like Lissandra, who can blast the wave a couple of times with AoE spells, versus Aurelia, who needs to think critically about how to manage her minions because they double as an extension of her mobility. Navigating a team fight is very, very important for a marksman like Kog'Maw, who will die if they position wrong, less so on a tank like Malphite, who can survive most hits that they take, and even less important on a dedicated split pusher like Fiora, who usually avoids team fights whenever possible. My third and final piece here is the balance between these 2 parts. Put simply, players should have to really play the champion to master them, but there should also be enough translatable skills that they won't be completely pigeonholed into one-tricking a character. The fourth pillar is fairness to play against. This is usually the one invoked most often on online forums as a red card. If you believed everything you read online, then you would believe that champions who violate fairness are the very worst scum of the earth characters and should not exist. I intend to take a very close lens to characters who are usually bashed over this. Examples include Yone, Aphelios, Zoe, and Yuumi. I want to really talk about these characters because they're often given the hot seat online, and any good faith discussion about them is snuffed out before the embers show up. Fairness is the kind of pillar that can only apply to a PvP game after all, and it's the one most closely linked to game balance. It's all about how players fighting a character need a reliable means to win against that character on every scale. In what situation does this character lose a fight? Do they lose in duels? 2v2s? Full 5v5s? Do they fall off late game, or do they scale? How high should their scaling cap? In what scenarios can the enemy team secure victory against this character, and how many mistakes should this character be allowed to make without costing themselves the rest of the game? The fifth and final pillar, and this one very rarely comes up for League of Legends, is uniqueness. League has a lot of champions, but no two should be so similar as to be indistinguishable. Can you definitely recognize a character by their silhouette alone? It's kind of a meme on Reddit now, but it's still a good point. Being able to clearly recognize a character at a glance is important for gameplay clarity, and ties back into fairness. Is their gameplay different enough from everyone else that it justifies actually playing them, be that in ranked on a competitive scale or a casual one? There's one more little thing that I want to mention here. Different designers have different priorities. It's possible that you listened through everything on this list and started ranking the pillars based on importance in your head, and that's totally okay. Riot Ghostcrawler has said,
skill expression in terms of gameplay may be the most important pillar.
Online, tons of people value fairness the most. Me personally, I value gameplay satisfaction a lot. I pledge by what Nintendo of America's former president Reggie said.
If it's not fun, why bother?
I play video games to have fun, and I play lots of characters who hit different levels on all the other points of this list, but I only play characters that I think are fun because I play video games for fun. Alright, that's my whole criteria said and done. By the time that you hear this, my first champion design talk will already be out. It'll be on Ari. She's a solid start, I think. And then from there, the rest of the series. Also, if you're worried that you have to memorize this video or something to keep up with what I'm saying, don't be. I'll briefly bring the criteria back up each video so it'll be refreshed in your minds. If you made it this far, thank you for not clicking off. Since you're here, how about you tell me who you want me to do a video on? I do have some reservations for characters, especially a few that I want to do a subscriber special on, but I'll still read the comments and hear y'all out. Thanks for watching, have a good one. Bye!